You've thus spent hundreds of dollars trying to fix your sleep. Gummies, rings, weighted blankets, cooling pillows. And you're still lying awake at 2 a.m, wondering why none of it worked. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Sleep scientists have quietly tested these products for years, and several of America's best-selling sleep fixes barely do anything at all. Let's count down the 6 biggest wastes of money, starting with number 6. Number 6, melatonin gummies. Melatonin is the most popular sleep supplement in the United States, and it might also be the most misunderstood. Most people assume it works like a sedative, something that knocks you out the moment it hits your system. That is not what melatonin actually is. It is a hormone your body already produces naturally when light fades in the evening. Taking a gummy version of it does not sedate you. It sends a timing signal, nothing more. That timing signal can genuinely help if you are jet-lagged or shifting your schedule. But if your bedroom is flooded with light from a street lamp, a television, or your phone screen, no gummy can override that. Your own melatonin production depends on darkness reaching your eyes first. There is also a quality problem. Testing on melatonin products sold across the United States has repeatedly found major inconsistencies between what the label promises and what is actually inside the bottle. Some contain far more melatonin than stated, others contain far less. And most brands sell doses many times higher than what research actually supports, meaning you could be taking 10 times the amount your body needs for a hormone that was never designed to sedate you in the first place. That mismatch matters more than people realize. If your evening gummy contains 10 milligrams when your body only needs half a milligram to do its job, you are not sleeping better. You are just flooding your system with an unnecessary hormone dose every single night. Some researchers have even raised concerns about long-term use in children, since regulation of these products remains extremely loose in the United States. Sleep scientists generally agree melatonin has a real, narrow purpose, shifting your internal clock during travel or a schedule change. Using it as a nightly crutch for chronic insomnia is simply not what the research supports. And melatonin is not the only bedtime purchase riding on a comforting idea rather than solid proof. Coming in at number 5 is a product you have almost certainly seen that all over social media. Number 5, weighted blankets. Weighted blankets exploded in popularity with promises of instant calm and deeper, uninterrupted sleep. The idea sounds reasonable. Gentle, even pressure across your body is supposed to mimic the feeling of being hugged, lowering stress and helping you drift off faster. The problem is the research behind that claim is thin. Most existing studies are small, short, and often funded by the companies selling the blankets. Independent, large-scale trials that would confirm real improvements in sleep quality are still largely missing. Some people genuinely feel calmer under the extra weight, and that is not nothing. But for many others, especially people who sleep hot or move around during the night, a heavy blanket adds discomfort rather than removing it. Sleep researchers are clear that if a weighted blanket feels good to you personally, there is no harm in using one. But treating it as a proven medical solution to a real sleep disorder is where the marketing gets ahead of the evidence. Part of the confusion comes from how the product is marketed. Advertisements often borrow language that sounds clinical, talking about deep pressure stimulation as though it were an established medical therapy. In reality, most of that language traces back to occupational therapy research on a completely different population, not large-scale trials on adults with everyday insomnia. Comfort is a legitimate reason to buy a blanket. A guaranteed cure for poor sleep is not. Speaking of products that lean on clinical-sounding language, number 4 takes that a step further, since it is sold right next to actual medicine. Number 4, over-the-counter sleep aids. Walk down any American pharmacy aisle and you will find dozens of over-the-counter sleep aids promising a full night of rest. Almost all of them rely on the same active ingredient, an antihistamine, the same class of drug used to treat allergies. Here's what sleep scientists want you to know. Your body builds tolerance to antihistamines fast. The longer you use them, the less sedating effect they have, which pushes people toward taking more just to get the same result. They also tend to leave you groggy the next morning, sometimes described as a sleep hangover. And there is growing concern, especially for older adults, about long-term use being linked to cognitive decline. These products were never designed to fix chronic sleep problems. They were designed as an occasional short-term backup. Using them nightly to solve a real ongoing sleep issue is treating a symptom while ignoring the actual cause. Doctors are especially cautious about certain groups using these products regularly. People with conditions like glaucoma or urinary retention are advised to avoid them entirely, and physicians increasingly flag long-term antihistamine use as a risk factor worth discussing at any age, not just later in life. If you find yourself reaching for the same box every single night for weeks in a row, that is not a sign the product is working. According to sleep scientists, it is usually a sign the underlying problem was never actually addressed. If a pill is not the fix, maybe data is. That is exactly the pitch behind number 3. Number 3, sleep tracking rings and wearables. Smart rings and wristbands promise to decode your sleep with laboratory-level precision. And to be fair, the technology has genuinely improved. Some devices now come close to matching research-grade equipment used by actual sleep clinicians. But sleep scientists point to 2 real issues. First, accuracy still varies significantly between brands. And even the best consumer device is not a diagnostic tool. It cannot replace a real sleep study if you suspect something is medically wrong. Second, and more surprising, obsessively checking your sleep score every morning can backfire completely. There is now a recognized condition called orthosomnia, where the anxious pursuit of a perfect sleep score actually makes your sleep worse. You end up lying awake worrying about your data instead of simply sleeping. Wearables can be a genuinely useful mirror, showing you patterns like late nights or how alcohol affects your rest. What they are not is a treatment. They observe, they do not fix. There's another layer to this worth mentioning. These devices collect an enormous amount of sensitive physiological data every single night, and privacy regulations have not caught up with how that information gets stored, shared, or sold. So you are not just paying money for a sleep score. In many cases, you are also handing over intimate health data with very few guarantees about where it ends up. Sleep scientists increasingly recommend treating these rings as a curiosity tool, something fun to glance at occasionally, rather than a nightly obsession or a medical authority on your health. If tracking your sleep will not fix it, some companies are betting you will pay even more to actively control it. Which brings us to number 2. Number 2, EEG sleep headbands. This next category comes with a much higher price tag, often several $100s, and a much bigger promise. These headbands claim to read your actual brainwaves overnight and use gentle stimulation to guide you into deeper sleep. Some of this technology is genuinely promising and actively being researched. But sleep scientists urge serious caution before buying in. Independent, peer-reviewed validation for many of these commercial devices is still limited. Much of the impressive language around brainwave optimization comes directly from company marketing, not from independent clinical trials. And because these are sold as general wellness devices rather than medical devices, they largely avoid the regulatory scrutiny that a real medical treatment would require. If you have a persistent, serious sleep problem, spending hundreds of dollars on an unproven headband is not where sleep scientists recommend starting. Which brings us to the single biggest, most expensive myth of all. It is also worth noting how these devices are classified. Because they are marketed under general wellness rather than as medical devices, companies can make suggestive claims about brainwave optimization without needing the same level of proof a prescription treatment would require. That does not automatically mean the product does nothing. It means the burden of proof has quietly shifted onto you, the buyer, instead of onto the company selling the promise. And that quiet shift in responsibility is really the theme connecting everything on this list. Which leads us to the single biggest, most expensive myth of all. Number 1, specialty sleep tech as a replacement for the basics. Here's the one thing almost every sleep scientist agrees on, and it is the exact opposite of what the sleep industry wants you to believe. The single most effective, most proven method for fixing chronic sleep problems involves no product at all. It is called cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, and it works better than pills, better than rings, and better than any headband on this list. The entire sleep technology industry is now worth tens of billions of dollars in the United States alone, and it keeps growing every year. But researchers keep landing on the same unglamorous conclusion. A dark, cool, quiet bedroom and a consistent sleep schedule outperform almost every product marketed to fix your sleep. Fixing your environment and your habits first is the actual evidence-backed solution. The gadgets and supplements are, at best, minor additions on top of that foundation. At worst, they are an expensive distraction from doing the boring things that actually work. So before you buy another gummy, another ring, or another blanket, ask yourself honestly whether your bedroom is actually dark enough, cool enough, and quiet enough. According to sleep scientists, that single question is worth more than every product on this list combined. None of this means every sleep product on the market is worthless. Some can genuinely support good habits once the fundamentals are already in place. But the order matters. Fix your light exposure, your schedule, and your bedroom environment first. Only after that foundation is solid does it make sense to consider adding anything else. Skipping straight to the expensive gadget while ignoring the basics is exactly how the sleep industry keeps growing every single year, now worth tens of billions of dollars in the United States alone, built largely on convincing tired people that the next purchase will finally be the one that works. If this saved you some money, subscribe for more videos like this. See you in the next one.